This mutation is called Cold is the Void, and it is played on Oblivion Express. We have 3 mutators active. We have Void Reanimators, we have Blizzard, and we have Void Rifts. So, there are a few things I want to talk about this mutation. First off, let us talk about why am I casting a Zeratul Dehaka game, and why am I not casting a solo? Because let me draw your attention to this. No mastery allocations. This is actually a level 1 Dehaka and also a level 1 Zeratul. And if you do not believe me, you can see over here, final artifact power unlocks at commander level 2. This is done on an arcade map, so the mastery allocations are a little bit glitched over there, but this is indeed a level 1 Zeratul. This is a level 1 Zeratul and a level 1 Dehaka, and typical Ankalagon and Eddie will be doing this mutation with a couple of level 1 commanders. And in fact, they did this on a regular map, and the submission for this map that I got, and I will quote, "We did a run in the real map with new accounts, but that game was too easy and boring." So it just goes to show you the caliber of co-op players these guys are. So yeah, apparently it was just a little bit too easy with level 1 commanders on the original map, so they decided to just make it a little bit more difficult. So let us talk about Cold is the Void. First set of Void Rifts are out, by the way. Cold is the Void rolled around a very long time ago, before the introduction of Mutator safety zones. And because Mutator safety zones weren't a thing at the time, you could not take your expansion when the Mutator rolled around. Nowadays, we have Mutator safety zones, and we also have powerful commanders like Zeratul, who can actually deal with the difficult mutations, so this mutation is not going to be as difficult as people would normally expect it to be, especially if they have played Cold as the Void during the first time it rolled around. And I believe it is the only Brutal +6 difficulty mutation that is in the pool. Even Aggressive Recruitment is not a Brutal +6 difficulty mutation, so it's going to be really difficult. And the 2 mutators that are definitely the problematic ones are going to be the Void Rifts and the Void Reanimators. So Void Rifts, as you saw, will spawn around the map and they will be pinged on the minimap, so it makes it a little bit easier to find where they are. One thing to note is that the Void Reanimators can resurrect the units that are spawning from these Void Rifts, but they will not spawn from the Void Rifts themselves. And when I mean spawning from the Void Rifts do not drop the Void Reanimators, but additionally also the Void Reanimators, because they spawn from enemy structures, Void Rifts are not counted as part of that pool. So if you were to all clear the map, whenever the Void Rifts are there, Void Reanimators will not spawn regardless of that. So that does make it a little bit simpler, easier, I'm not really sure, but that is what we have there. So you can see we already have a trickle of enemy units here, which means that there is a Void Reanimator around. And speaking of the devil, there we go, that is the Void Reanimator, and this is going to be a little bit difficult. Remember, these 2 commanders are level 1 commanders. They really do not have very much available to them, especially Dehaka. Like, Dehaka does not even have like proper detection. Like, he doesn't get his detection until level 5, I want to say, so it is going to be a little bit tricky. So we do have a couple of worms being used for Dehaka, and Zeratul also just trying to deal with a little trickle spawn that is being caused inevitably by a Void Reanimator. The first train has also spawned. Glavik is available, and one thing to note about Glavik is because these 2 again are level 1 commanders, he's not going to have his incendiary acid, which is usually what uses the little fire breath ability that he has to actually take out the train. He doesn't have access to that, so he's gonna have to be able to take that out manually. So it is going to be, again, a little bit of a challenge. There is another set of units that have spawned over there. There is a Void Templar over here, and I think there was a cancellation of the cannon. No, actually it was a loss of cannon over there. And then Marauder is going to be able to deal a little bit of damage here. This Void Templar being a little bit annoying as well, and Zeratul has used his Stasis Beam because he has actually no other abilities that he can utilize, being a level 1 commander. Dehaka is going to be charging in as well and slowly picking up some more of the essence from these units here. Now, one thing to note is that the essence from the resurrected units, like those resurrected units do drop essence, but the units from the Void Rifts do not drop essence for Dehaka, and the same goes for Manx Royal Guard experience and Abathur Biomass. So again, you cannot really farm the Void Rifts with those commanders. It is going to be a very difficult mutation, and there is going to be a lot of salt on the Battle.net forums, and there's going to be a lot of salt in the general chat for the game, because it does push players to their limit. There's a lot of early game pressure, and the pressure does not reduce over the course of the game. As soon as you start killing units, you're going to get Void Reanimators spawning, and one of the other things as well is you cannot even all clear the map. All clearing the map is so difficult because of the blizzards, and because of the Void Reanimators, and because of the Void Rifts. It's just almost, I think it's almost impossible to clear the map, and the AI as well on this map is really, really annoying. As soon as you start taking out enemy structures, the AI will start sending workers to rebuild the structures around the map, so it is going to be very, very difficult. I'm pretty sure it's all clearable. I'm pretty sure there are some insane co-op players that will be able to all clear the map, but it's just not an easily achievable strategy here. So, a couple more Void Rifts are out right now. Zeratul is making his way to try and take out these Void Rifts. It does take an interest in the Zealot temporarily, but he's going to be going to take that out. Void Templar is over here, and he's just going to be sniping that Void Rift. And he's basically going to use his static defense at home to deal with the trickle spawn of the units from the Void Rift, which is going to be okay. Over here, Dehaka has used Morvar, and Morvar is going to be starting to work way across and dealing some damage to the train over here. And I think these structures should be fine. There are a bunch of shield guards as well. These shield guards will be able to replenish the shields. We also have some primal posts here. The train has not gone down yet, and this is going to be a little bit tricky. There is a Brute Queen over here as well. Brute Queen's being a little bit annoying and snaring Dehaka, just slowing it down a little bit. We have some Locusts as well being utilized here to try and deal some more damage to the train. And now we have the next set of Void Rifts, and now you can see we have 4 Void Rifts spawning. This one is going to be the tricky one because it's actually quite a ways away from these players, and they still haven't dealt with the train yet. So the Void Templar has joined in as well now. He's trying to swipe away on this train. There is an attack wave on the way. We have some Locusts also being utilized over here, and Zeratul has noticed that the Void Rift on the northern side needs to be dealt with. Dehaka is slowly starting to push through. The Void Templar has taken out the Void Rift on the far left. That Void Templar has also taken out this Void Rift, but unfortunately does get killed off by the enemy use here. And you can see we have Void Rays now spawning from these Void Rifts. So Dehaka is going to have to deal with this train. Over here we do have, or with that little attack wave, but we do have this one Void Templar that will be taking out this Void Rift. And over here now, this attack wave is basically just what is left in the attack wave. Here we do have the annoying Void Reanimator here, so that needs to be dealt with as well. And now the next train has spawned on the northern side. The train has been taken out by Zeratul with the help of his Void Templars and the rest of the units here, so that is pretty good. Third train as well is again not too difficult. This is the 4th and the 5th train, the double train wave that is going to be really, really nasty. That one Mulisk is trying to take out that Swarm Host, but nice pullback here on the Shield Guards to try and deal with that one Mulisk. The next set of Void Rifts have spawned, but all these commanders are ready. There's a Greater Primal Worm here. Greater Primal Worm will take out that Void Rift, and Void Templar takes out the Void Rift on the northern side, and Dehaka is going to start slapping away on this train, dealing a little bit more damage, slowly working his way here. Zeratul has joined in as well, and he's going to try and take out the Scourge as well, but main goal here is to just deal. Because funnily enough, the Scourge wanted to take out the Locust, but they just couldn't decide which Locust to focus fire down. And there are a lot of Mutalisks over here, and I don't know. It does not look like Dakran has his Spines upgrade, which means that he doesn't actually have the damage reflect just yet again, which is somewhat problematic. But again, that train does end up going down. There is a bonus train here. I do not know if these commanders are going to be insane enough to try and deal with the bonus objective just yet, but they just want to hold because there is a little annoying trickle of Mulisks here, which means that somewhere on the map there is going to be a Void Reanimator, and this is going to be the tricky part. Now we have we have 3 Void Rifts still available on the map, and we have an attack wave that is making its way towards the player's spaces. We have some Guardians here. The Guardians can shoot from long range, so that's going to be again a bit of a problem. And one Void Templar over here does take out this one Void Rift. Over here we have another Void Templar picking off this Void Rift as well. There is a 3rd Void Rift on the far right of the map, but now this attack wave is going to be getting closer to the player's bases. Zeratul needs to work his way over here. There is a set of locusts that get used to try and just stall this attack wave, but again, this is an air-based attack wave. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for these commanders to deal with that, and I don't see any psionic units as well, so Dehaka can't just instantly delete these guardians. He has to take them out manually one by one. Shield Guard does get focused down by a set of guardians, but does end up managing to survive, and the next set of Void Rifts have spawned. So we have another set of Void Rifts over here. No expansion has been taken as well by these players, so these players are playing almost as if this was Cold is the Void when it first came out, but at that point I don't even know if Dehaka was available during that time. Someone can tell me in the comments. I don't think Dehaka was available during that time. Very nice Devour from Dehaka here. Instantly wipes out the entirety of the escort wave here and uses Glevig to try and deal with the rest of this train. Again, over here he does manage to devour the queen, does take out the rest of the enemy units before he ends up dying, but again, Zeratul's Legion now is going to be used to try and deal with this train. Over here, Glevig is just trying to stall and deal with these guardians. There is a Void Reanimator on the northern side that's being a little bit annoying, and we have these Void Templars that are going to be clearing out this train over here. Okay, there's a Void Reanimator. You can see that Resurrection that's coming up over here. There is a ping here, and the Greater Primal Worm is not going to survive, so that one Void Rift is going to be a problem. And now we have a few more Void Rifts spawn again. We have Void Templar, we have the Legion call down over here, and we have Dehaka plus army dealing with this one Void Rift. We have Zeratul over here as well. He's gone a little bit further away. He wants to try and take out that Spore Crawler, but I think the Queen was transfusing that Spore Crawler a little bit too much. But Zeratul is going to finally pick off that one Void Rift, and now we have a set of Guardians that are being a little bit annoying over here. Now, again, I will draw your attention to the fact that these commanders are level 1 commanders, and they seem to be doing absolutely fine. It just shows you how strong Zeratul and Dehaka are. Dehaka tries to jump in, just gets obliterated by the air attack wave here. And over here we have a set of locusts, but those locusts are not going to be too long for this world. And we have Stasis. That Stasis has actually clipped the entirety of the attack wave. It's going to let Dehaka get into position. So he does devour that one Brood Queen. There is a Guardian over here that's being a little bit annoying, but the Stasis is going to wear off very, very soon now. And Dehaka has to find a way of dealing with this attack wave because he has absolutely no anti-air here. And he decides to back off a little bit. There are a few Primal Worms that can hold temporarily, and there are a few Tesseract Cannons here as well, but these Tesseract Cannons are going to get completely destroyed by the Mulisks and the Guardians over here. Finally, Zeratul jumps in now, and he's going to be able to deal with this attack wave. So we have another set of Void Rifts that have spawned. So there's one over here. Greater Primal Worm will be dealing with that. We have a Void Templar dealing with the Southern Void Rift, and a train that Dehaka is going to be jumping in. Very nice Devour from Dehaka, and Dehaka has actually taken out a good chunk of this attack wave. There's still some Guardians and Devourers and a few Scourge left, so it's just going to be just nibbling on some of those units here. The Scourge are hitting Dehaka a little bit, so that kind of like hurts as well, and that Devourer as well, but most of the train escort has been killed off here, and Zeratul is using his Telverse Legion now to start dealing some more damage to this train. Train will end up going down, especially with the next spawn of Locusts from Dehaka's Primal Hosts. All really good. These Scourge are not really much of a threat here, but I did notice that there is a Marine over here and there are no Void Rifts, which means that there is a Void Reanimator somewhere. You can see the animation over here. So that's one thing also you should be able to, you should notice when, you know, you're dealing, if you start seeing a trickle of enemy units, then you know that there's a Void Reanimator somewhere. And especially with a case like this, it's very clear that there are no Void Rifts, because there's no pathing in this area that would lead you to believe that there is a Void Rift somewhere. But over here now, this Void Templar actually wanted to deal with that Void Rift. Unfortunately, it is not able to clear that Void Rift out entirely. But now Dehaka is going to start pushing in here and start dealing with some more of these enemy units. And now an attack wave over here, but Zeratul jumping in, uses his Void Templar to clear out that Void Rift. Closing these Void Rifts as quickly as possible is key to succeeding in this mission. A lot of people think that they can survive these Void Rifts. They see a Void Rift and like, no, you know what, I'll deal with that later. It is very difficult to deal with a Void Rift later, because Void Rifts spawn very frequently in the mission, and if you let a couple of Void Rifts be on the map, you're probably never going to end up closing them unless you're on your way to closing another set of Void Rifts. It can just get very quickly overwhelming. So make sure to try and close and Void Rifts as quickly as possible. So, now we have another double train wave, so Zeratul is on this side, we have Dehaka on the northern side trying to dodge some more of these blizzards, we have Glevik being used over here to deal with this, and Dehaka is going to be jumping in, looking for a queen. I don't think he can find, I think he was looking for a queen, he's not going to be able to, and he is going to get completely wrecked by the Guardians and the Devourers. So yeah, I think he went looking for a queen there and he was not able to find it, but there is a stasis beam that gets used. It doesn't really hit most of the enemy units here, especially the Guardians, but Glevik will be able to deal with that very quickly. And over here, Zeratul has used his Teleburst Legion again to deal with some of the train escort as well as the train itself, while Zeratul deals with the air units. So we have one random Void Templar parked over here, and Glevik has actually stalled the rest of this train escort. He has taken the train out. Over here, this train is very low on HP. Murvar is being used here, and the Void Templar going to deal with this Void Rift, ignoring the train temporarily. Murvar will be spawning some more Locusts, but the Void Templar's goal is to just take out that one Void Rift right now. So some Locusts are dealing some more damage to this train, but there is another Void Reanimator that is being a little bit annoying, and there is an attack wave that is coming in on the northern side of the map, moving towards the player's main bases. Zeratul jumps, takes out this train, and now they have to deal with this attack wave. So Scourge do end up hitting Dehaka, and very nice Devour from Dehaka there. Almost one-shots the entirety of the attack wave, but unfortunately these Devourers just have a little bit too much HP, and the Guardians are a little bit slow, so they actually end up falling behind and avoiding the death that Dehaka was prepared to bring upon them. So over here, this one Tesseract cannon may end up going down, and Dehaka is going to be nibbling up on some drones. He has to actually jump in here and deal with this. So there are a lot of Guardians over here. He has to jump in and eat the Brood Queen, and he's going to do just that, one-shotting all these Guardians, and those Guardians have gone down. So bonus objectives have not been cleared, so both the bonus objective trains have passed, but I think this is the last train of the mission, so this is going to be pretty... This game looks so straightforward, but I assure you it is not that easy. Like, these players just make it look so easy, but yeah, just extremely well played. A lot of multitasking from Zeratul is required. He had his Void Templars pretty much completely dealing with Void Rifts and very individually controlled, so... And that was a just absolutely lovely stasis beam there. Just clips the entirety of the escort wave, keeping the escort off the rest of these units here. But now there are a lot of angry Guardians, and there is an attack wave that is coming up here. And these players will have to band their army together. Doctrine is trying to run away here from the one hybrid, and Doctrine will end up going down, but there is an attack wave on the way here. And Zeratul has to try and find a way of dealing with it. He has actually sniped all the detection that Amon has, and now Dehaka is going to be jumping in, devouring a set of Brood Queens here, but unfortunately, again, the Guardians and the Devourers a little bit too far away. Okay, there was a very nice Devourer there on the Psionic unit, takes out the Guardians of the attack wave, but the Scourge just hit Dehaka, and Dehaka explodes into tiny little bits. And now Zeratul has used his Teleburst Legion. There are a few ground units here. Infestor gets a Fungal Growth on Zeratul's Legion. Zeratul is just trying to focus down this train now, and this train is pretty much gone. Yeah, that is the final train that has been cleared. All the trains have been cleared, none passed except for the bonus objectives, and the Void Rifts have also been very well handled. GG from both these players. Those are all the trains cleared. And that is GG.